This video is about the remaining 4 letters on the CFPB's website in regards to response to a debt collector that contacts you. The one they call Tell Me More About This Debt is actually the debt validation letter, and I have created a separate video for that. I will put the URL in the comment section of this particular video when I upload it to the channel. This video is continuing with what to do if contacted by a debt collector. This is information from the CFPB, and you can readily go online. The web link is here, so you can go and print these out or download them to your computer. So we're going to go through these letters, these 5 letters that they have on their website. There are other things you can do. These are just suggestions, and just to kind of give you something to work with if you are contacted by a debt collector. And what you have to understand, I want to say this in the beginning, if the debt is validated, these techniques will not undo a legitimate debt. They will not wipe out a debt that you owe. It would only help you with people who are collecting the debt that are unscrupulous, or maybe a phantom debt collector that's contacting you and the debt is really not yours. But if you have a legitimate debt, trying to use these techniques to force the creditor or the debt collector to wipe out the debt or excuse the debt because they can't find it or whatever, that's not always true. So these techniques will not get rid of a legitimate debt. The CFPB says, has this first little portion when you go to this section of I've been contacted by a debt collector, and the answer is, depending on the situation, there are different ways to respond appropriately to debt collectors. We have sample letters you can use if you're experiencing common problems. Okay, and it gives you a list here. It says, I do not owe this debt. I need more information about this debt. That's basically your debt validation. I want the debt collector to stop contacting me. I want the debt collector to only contact me through my lawyer. I want to specify how the debt collector can contact me. If you use any of these letters, it is important to do so as soon as possible after your first contact, to keep copies of any letters you send. In certain situations, you only have 30 days after you're contacted to ask for certain information. I want to reread that again. You only have 30 days after you're contacted to ask for certain information. If you don't, the debt will automatically be applied to you. So timeliness and follow through is very, very important. But if more than 30 days pass, it's still a good idea to ask for what you need. So the letters here, warning, these are not legal advice. I'm going to read that again. These are just letters the CFPB is giving you. They're not giving you legal advice. So the best thing to do is check with an attorney if you're in doubt, if your situation is complicated. Everybody's need is a little complicated. If you're being sued or think you're being sued, you should contact an attorney, a lawyer, right away. These letters should not be used with a credit card company or your original lender. I'm going to read that again. These letters should not be used with a credit card company or original lenders. These letters are written to be used with a debt collector, debt collection companies, or anybody who has purchased your debt from an original lender in order to collect it from you. So basically, these letters are only to be used in the case of you've defaulted on the debt. Say, for instance, you were out of work and you couldn't pay your bills and you were trying to keep them paid, but eventually the original lender got tired of waiting and sold your debt to a collector. So that's when you use the letters that's in this video. This particular letter is called This Is Not My Debt. And as you read the background information here, it says this letter tells the debt collector to stop contacting you unless they can show evidence that you are responsible for this debt. Stopping contact does not cancel the debt. So legally stopping them from contacting you, as it says here, would not cancel the debt. So if a debt collector still believes you are responsible, he may take additional actions by suing you or putting it on your credit report. The little letter basically requests documentation confirming the debt, and it also asks them to record that you are disputing the debt. This slide basically reflects the debt validation letter. I created a separate video. The CFPB calls the debt validation letter "Tell Me More About That Debt." So that is in a separate video, and I will include the URL in the comment section of this video. Now this particular letter is "Stop Contacting Me." Once again, here as you read the background section, it says, generally speaking, federal law says that debt collectors must stop contacting you after they get a written request to stop contacting you. Debt collectors can, however, contact you to tell you that they won't contact you again, but they're going to take other actions. So stopping a debt collector from contacting you does not cancel the debt, as it said in the other letter. You still might be sued or have the debt reported to a credit bureau. Now this is the little letter that you can put together telling them to stop contacting you. But basically, as it says here, if you have that particular debt in dispute, you want to mention that in your letter. If you have engaged a lawyer, you would send this letter, "Only contact my lawyer." And basically what you would do is, if the lawyer is representing you about the debt, then in the letter you would just provide the debt collector with the lawyer's contact. And he should not contact you unless the lawyer is unavailable. Here is the little sample letter you would use. Basically, you're just providing your attorney's contact information. Now this is the last sample letter in this video, and it says, here's how to contact me. This is very good if you have a job where you can't receive calls, or you're in a position where taking calls is kind of, hazardous or something. But you can provide the debt collector with a specific way to contact you. And here under background it states, debt collectors are prohibited by federal law from contacting you about a debt at a time or place they know is inconvenient to you. They also can't contact you at your place of employment if you let them know that your employer prohibits it. Using this letter, if you want to restrict how a debt collector contacts you, is a good thing. So using it is a good thing. But like this little paragraph over, little sentence says, if you want to work something out, you don't want to make it too hard for the debt collector to reach you. So that's what's so important. You got to weigh that. You got to give them a way to contact you by phone that's not inconvenient to you. Now here's the little sample letter they use, and they right here states they give you the mailing address in the mail, and then you give them a phone number and a convenient time when they can contact you by phone. That's the wonderful thing about it. You can control the contact that the debt collector will have with you, when and where. So use this letter, but as they said over there in the little background section, keep in mind you want to be able to communicate with them, because you leave them no other out but to file a lawsuit against you or just report it to the credit bureaus. Dealing with debt collectors can be very hard, especially if they can be very, how can I say, unforgiving, unreasonable, especially if you're dealing with like identity theft, phantom debt, all of these other crazy things that can happen. But debt collectors are just trying to collect monies that people have borrowed from creditors. As simple as that. So they have their rights, but the federal government gives us rights as consumers that protect us from unscrupulous behavior by the debt collectors. So these little letters should kind of help you frame an idea. You can add to them depending on your particular circumstance, and I hope that these are helpful to you to help alleviate some of the stress in dealing with this situation. And once again, thank you for visiting my channel, and have a great day.